Well, good morning. I've already started my pile and made a little bit of progress this morning. I have freed up the air conditioning system now. I made two little support things there, screwed it down so it doesn't wobble, so it's all freestanding now. So that led to the next step, which was taking out the paramedic chair. And of course, something you're going to run into if you're going to work on an ambulance is opening a box. Opening boxes in this case are usually, well, they're not always a gift. So I opened this one up and it was very intimidating. Wires, 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 and wires. But what I've learned to do about this, and back here is the suction pump. Okay, so this looks very intimidating, but what I did was what I did with everything is just start picking at it, trying to follow the wires. First thing I found was there's some wires in here that aren't even connected to anything. So that was easy to take care of. Next was this big wad of wire over here, and I just kind of picked it up. And I noticed it doesn't go anywhere. All these wires are just cut. And everything in the ambulance works. So I found the wires where they cut the radios and all. So these are just numbered like 1 through 5. They're not official ones, because all the wires in an ambulance are individually numbered with the system and a serial number, so you can follow the wires. These are not. So I'm thinking, my theory is these are just pulled from the front of the cab, because also, so we don't have to worry so much about these. We can tuck them away somewhere. But also, somebody was nice enough to leave a note. So here's another wad of wires I pulled up, which go absolutely nowhere, but they left a very nice sign here that says pull wire from cab. So I'm guessing again these are just extra unused wires in this ginormous loom. So that must be also a way to pull. Maybe you can, maybe they're there so that you can pull cables through this chaseway. That's pretty cool. I mean, just the touches are just amazing with this. So we can set those aside. That's not being used. So now we got this rat's nest here. I just kind of lifted up on it and everything just kind of moved together. And what I discovered is this whole set of wires doesn't terminate here. It just comes into this and then passes right out. So this entire wad of wires can simply be threaded back into that bin, and we can clean this out real easy. So let's set those aside. All right, so here I've cleared out all the wires that are not necessary, and you can see it's not nearly as scary now. So let's look at the inverter. So let's read some things about this. This is an interesting inverter because it's a 12-volt DC power inverter, but it's also a battery charger, a conditioner, and an automatic transfer switch. That's going to be very helpful. Now, what do we know about it? We know that this is the output. So if we unplug the output, that's going to disconnect all our outlets. All right, so let's look at our status lights. There's an on-off button, the status of the inverter, battery low, over temp, overload, charger status, and then a remote plug. So if we follow the remote plug over, we'll end up over here at this interface module. So that's that wire, and the jumper comes in here, and these are not used. The charger status panel, inverter status, and remote are not used, but the remote is. So this yellow wire right here, that's the remote wire, and that simply goes up to the switch on the wall. So that's pretty straightforward. So what else we know about an inverter? Well, we've got to have the battery plus and minus coming in. Well, that's pretty easy to find. It's this gigantic black and red wire, and it has a nice big disconnect, so we'll be able to disconnect that. So the only thing that I'm wondering is, since it is a battery charger, it's going to have 110 coming in, and I can't quite see down in here yet. I see there's the plus coming in, there's the minus coming in, and there's this white box, and I don't see anything else. So my theory is when I get more into this, that the 110 should come into this box here. If nothing comes into this box, then the battery charging feature is not being used on this box, and I would like to use that. If it is, then I need to follow this back to wherever it is, because I plugged in the outside power supply to the outside, which is supposed to give 110 to the unit and charge the battery, and all it did was trip the gigantic breaker back there on the back wall. So something's shorted, something's not right. So have to investigate it. But the good news is maybe I could just bypass whatever the problem is and bring in a 110 power directly to the box. So, you know, initially scary, lots of wires, but just getting down to it. And then the next thing is I have no idea how I'm going to sort out this pump. There's a lot of things coming in there, but what we'll have to do is take out the cabinets, and we'll just worry about it when we get there. So the answer to the question, yes, it does have an AC in. It's this wire that comes in here, goes into the box here, and inside there. So I'm going to go ahead, I've disconnected the battery here, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove the whole unit, and this will just be a project for another day. What I'd like to do is take it outside and then wire this up to an extension cord here and try to diagnose where the problem is. So moving on, just going to push all these wires and clear out of the way and get started on this guy here. Alright, so I thought we'd have a little fun. While I was taking this cabinet apart, I found a secret hatchway. And there's no way you could have opened it because these shelves are screwed in. So I just unscrewed the top shelf. I just unscrewed this one. Okay. And so I thought we'd do maybe a little unboxing or whatever. So let's see what's behind this door that nobody's probably seen for a very long time. Well, that was disappointing. Okay. On down. Let's see if we can see anything down in here. Just a great many number of wires. Oh, sorry, that was a letdown, but a pleasant one. And there it is. Tough, tough day. But that completes all the major demolition. So, not too bad. This wall will have to be built a little bit forward. Picked up all this space here, here, here. So I just poked all those extra wires through the hole there, and they're gone. All these wires right here have to do with the inverter, and there's a nice big hole in the wall. We can put all those wires through there, put the inverter out in the bin. This big chaseway is not even used, so that can go away. I put that big pile of extra wires back there. That can be cut out right there. And then you have this big, the reason the wall's going to have to be built out is there's this big wad of wires here and here. So, cool. Very happy with it. And found some clean insulation, believe it or not. Way back behind some kind of tar paper. Found some very nice clean insulation, so I'll get to do that. But that's the kind of insulation that's in the ceiling, very thick. And so here's going to be one of the problems. So the shower bin runs from here to here. Well, there's a really nice board here I wanted to keep, and to cut a hole here is not going to be wide enough, so that's going to have to be thinking on it. And so this worked out real nice, just standalone, so it still looks like an ambulance. We still have some ceiling rebuild issues here. And then you can see this is just a huge space. Now, one thing I do need your help with, I've got to figure out how to do a kitchen. So I'm reserving everything from the wheel wells back is going to be for living room and dining room. So from everything here forward is usable. I was thinking of a flip up desk here to make both desk space and also for kitchen prep space. So I have this whole front end that is a good 3.5 feet deep for the kitchen. Unfortunately, of course, we've got this monster here to deal with, and the door. One possibility would be the easy way out is just to use an outside entrance for the shower. That would be the simple way to do it. But I really don't want that. Wouldn't be very fun in the winter. And I want to make this a Four Seasons camper live-aboard condo on wheels. So I need some ideas there how to incorporate that. And I'm thinking about having the cabinets professionally built, so they'll be first class. Because I know I'm not going to be able to get good cabinets. I've ordered some new LED lights for all the lights up there. The great thing is I don't have to redo any of the lighting. There's going to be tons and tons of lighting. Absolutely no problem. And I found something else interesting about the 110 system. So right here, there's 4 110 plugs labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 4 110 plugs in the walls. So I'm assuming one way we can track down a problem is simply to unplug each of these plugs in case there's a short in a wire or a plug. Unfortunately, I can't get access to where the electric comes in to the cab. I'll just kind of maybe peek back there and try to see where that wire comes and goes. So all in all, at least now I can see what I'm dealing with, and that is a big relief, knowing that that's all out of the way. Now I have to learn how to build flooring, cover up these bins. I don't even, I'm going to take the rest of the day off and think about this all another time, but I'm very relieved now that all the demolition is complete.